Here we go again. UGA Bulldog Nation, here we go again. Here we go again. Another UGA player arrested. Another UGA player arrested for domestic violence. We just went through this back in August, late August, with Ra Thomas, which was, he was definitely going to be a starter on the team this year, and he would have been an asset. Now we're losing a very productive wide receiver. And this is not about football right here. It's not. Some other dogcasters have kind of glossed over it this morning, but I'm going to speak some real facts here, because you see, it seems to be that we're starting to have a culture issue at UGA. It appears that we have somewhat of a culture issue. This is really getting out of hand. So that's what we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss Colbie Young being arrested for domestic violence. I'm going to dig a little deeper into that. Then I'm going to discuss the culture issue at UGA. And then I'm going to end it on moving forward with life after Colbie Young, because if these charges stick, he's no longer going to be on this team. He will be immediately dismissed from the team. So that's what we're going to discuss here today, my friends. I'm Armando Black, and this is the Dawg Call. Good evening. Welcome to the Dawg Call. I'm your host, Armando Black. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying this beautiful, blessed, sunny Tuesday afternoon in the Georgia area. And I would like to take a moment and offer my to the people down in South Florida that's been hit real hard by the hurricanes. Just want to let you know that our thoughts and prayers are with you. I know you're going through a tough time. I have some friends that are very dear to me that live in the South Florida area. They have been hit tremendously hard. in the last couple of months with these hurricanes and tornadoes, and it's just they're catching it hard. This might be the worst that Florida has been hit this century by storms and hurricanes. So our thoughts and prayers are with those individuals, families down in the Florida area with Hurricane Milton. Please remember to keep those people in your prayers while they are going through this hurricane. Category 5 hurricane is no joke, nothing to play with. All right, let me go into my talking points here, ladies and gentlemen. So those of you that don't know, Colbie Young, wide receiver of the Georgia Bulldogs, was arrested for domestic violence. Allegedly, the victim claimed that he put his hands on her. The victim claimed the police arrived and there were bruises on her arm. According to reports, there were bruises on her arm, bruises in her face, and bruises in her chest. All right. The most disturbing part of the story is this young lady was carrying Colbie Young's unborn child. That is very disturbing. Apparently, Colbie Young was at his apartment around 1 something this morning, and the young lady arrived. She wanted to have a talk with him and discuss whatever future plans. What are his plans for her and the baby? And it escalated into an argument, and everything just went left. Next thing you know, the Athens Clark County Police Department arrived, and they noticed the bruises on this young lady, and allegedly she claims that those bruises were the cause that Colbie Young caused those bruises on her. And we all know that when it comes to situations like that, domestic violence situations like that, where they come out on a call and they flash that flashlight, and anyone, whether it's the woman or the man, has any marks on them or both, somebody's going to jail. They see marks, the other person is going to jail. So, we went through this with Ra Thomas. Now we're going through this with Colbie Young. Okay, so I can't help but to think there's a common denominator of this whole situation. Okay, and what all of this is telling me is that Kirby is not vetting these young men before he get them out of the transfer portal. Now, I'm not saying that the entire time that he's been in Georgia, he's not been vetting, because when he first got to Georgia, he was batting 1,000. Let's look at all the transfers he picked up. J.R. Reed, Maurice Smith, okay? Eli Wolf, Lawrence Cager. These were home runs. Darion Kendrick. These were home runs. These were Tyke Smith. These were home runs that he picked up. And not only did they perform well on the field, there was no off-field situations, no off-field domestic crap, no off the field DUIs, no off the field incidents, put it like that. Now enter Eric Gilbert. Go down the list. Trevor Etienne with the DUI. Ra Thomas, domestic violence. And now Colbie Young, domestic violence. Now, for those of you that were sitting there laughing and hating on Dabo Swinney for not going into the transfer portal, hey, look, He don't have to worry about this. Because see, the thing is with homegrown talent, players that you actually walk in their living room and shake hands with the mother and the father, and you give them their word that you're going to take care of their son, and they release their son to you, and they trust you with their son, then you get them on campus, you get them out there on that field, and you develop them. That's homegrown talent. But when you go in that transfer portal, you don't really know what you get. Now, one thing you're going off of how they performed at another school. But you don't know there were certain things that other school may put up with, but it just wasn't the Georgia way. And I think some changes need to be made regarding the transfer portal. I'm not saying to stop using the transfer portal. I'm not saying that at all. The transfer portal can be a darn good thing for college football in the University of Georgia. It helped us win a couple of national titles. Darion Kendrick, once again, Tyke Smith, both of them played huge parts in us winning 2 national titles. But I will say this, my friends. There needs to be more of an extensive vetting process when we go seeking kids out of the transfer portal. What I would suggest to Colbie is to bring on a conduct evaluator or a conduct counselor to counsel these young men on how, and you know, some of these kids are grown men. Some of them are grown, they're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Can't really tell them nothing, but you can give them advice. Advice on how to handle themselves in a situation. They're in a situation where they're arguing with their girlfriends, because I mean, we've all been young once in our life. You're dating a girl, you have a disagreement, you're arguing. There's a way to conduct yourself. See, especially in today's world. Especially in today's world. We in the Me Too era. You have to conduct yourself. You have to govern yourself accordingly in a certain manner nowadays. Certain things that you could get away with 30 and 40 years ago, you cannot get away with today. In this world today, you cannot get away with it. So I say that to say this. A conduct counselor, have someone to come speak to these young men at least once a week. And because these kids are making money now. Some of them are making millions, and a lot of them are making like 6 figures. So quite naturally, they're going to be targeted. They're going to be a target on their back just for that alone. So they need to be prepared and need to know how to conduct themselves. Now, in Colbie Young's case, that right there, that type of home training should start at home. All right. Now, any parent that is raising a young man in their household, one of the first things that you should teach them is never to put their hands on a woman. Absolutely, positively, for no reason whatsoever, don't put your hands on a woman. Don't put your hands on a woman. If you're in an argument and it gets heated, just leave. Just leave. Go for a drive, just clear the air. Clear the air. Create some distance between you and her. Sometimes if someone would just leave, mainly the man, just leave, go for a drive, go for a walk. If you don't have a car, go for a walk. Go for a walk around the corner. Go for a walk down the street. Let things cool off. And you will be surprised how many disputes can be resolved just by a cooler head prevailing. When you're standing there, yeah, jaw jaking back and forth, that don't come to a good end. That normally doesn't come to a good end. It could lead to all sorts of negative things. Breakup. Someone say the wrong thing. Someone said something that they will regret. It could even get physical. Another thing, fellas, you have to understand, okay? If you decide to lay down with a female unprotected, okay, and you impregnate her, see, in these females' mind, you belong to them for the next 18 years. You are theirs. So you might as well get used to their mouth, you know? But my advice to you is don't lay down with a female unless you have intentions on something for her in the future. Unless you have intentions on putting a ring on her finger. Don't lay down with her. Because see, you may be creating a life with a woman that you don't even intend on marrying. And then you have to deal with her for the next 18 years. So there's no reason, absolutely no reason why Colbie Young should have put his hands on that young lady. That is disgusting, that is egregious, and I 100% totally denounce it, all right? Now, of course, there's still an ongoing investigation, all right? That is why I'm using the words allegedly. But while this investigation is going on, I'm going to come out and say it right now. He needs to be off the team. He needs to be released from the team. Suspended indefinitely. He should be immediately suspended indefinitely. Okay. During this investigation. Now, the evidence comes back that you know, he exactly what the accuser is saying, that he exactly did what the accuser saying he did, then he should be immediately kicked off the team permanently. Because it's like this: football or no football, national championships or no national championships. That is not the way of the University of Georgia. That is not the way we conduct business at the University of Georgia. I've been a fan all my life. And one thing I can say is this school has represented that brand, that UGA brand, with integrity. They've maintained a level of integrity at that school, where other schools, they win at all costs. They don't give a damn. They just let these players do whatever they want to do. Some of them won championships because of that. But that's not the UGA way. That's not how we get down at the University of Georgia. We are not a win at all costs institution. We're not a win at all costs program. We've never been. And we're not going to start now. I would never want to see this school compromise their morals and values just to win some national titles, just to win some SEC titles. Because then the program becomes unrecognizable. Condoning young men that put their hands on females, So Kirby, you cannot waste any time on this, okay? You got to put your foot down immediately. You have to put your foot down immediately and let everyone know that this will not be tolerated at the University of Georgia. Do we have a culture issue at Georgia? I wouldn't say that, because kids are going to be kids. Part of this, and I know people are going to say, well, Georgia fans are using the NIL is an excuse. No, I'm not. It is what it is. When you put money, that kind of money, in the hands of men this age, because one thing I've always said, a man doesn't really fully develop into a grown man until he gets into his mid-20s. These young men are like 18, 19, 20, 21 in their early 20s. So a lot of these are young men. They're still kids. They still have childlike minds. So to put that kind of money into the hands of these kids, it's not a good idea. Now, am I in favor of the NIL? Yes. But there needs to be some kind of regulations. There needs to be some kind of salary cap implemented in for the NIL. And it needs to be done like ASAP. Because if they don't do something about it, if Congress, the NCAA, and all the major powerful conferences, if they don't come together and put some type of regulations on these NIL deals, it's going to ruin the sport of college football as we know it. And it won't take long. Right now, it's almost like college football is operating kind of like Major League Baseball. No salary cap. No salary cap. If you can convince a kid to leave one school and come to another school, and you offer him top dollar, $5 or $10 million, nobody's going to say anything about it. If you got it like that, nobody's going to say anything about it. There needs to be some type of regulation when it comes to this NIL money. I believe, in my opinion, that is the root of the problem. The racing, the DUIs, kids walking around with 6 figures, 7 figures. They get to feeling themselves, thinking that they're above the law, and they go to doing dumb crap without thinking. So I agree with my brother Sniper that co-hosts First and 10 with me. First and 10 with me. I'm sorry, First and 10 with me. I agree with him that there needs to be some type of regulation, federal regulation. I'm not talking about at the state level, because see, the states are not going to do the right thing. When you put things in the hands of the state, the states are going to do what they want to do. Because a lot of those people on the state level, they care more about some freaking national championships than they do about the well-being of these kids. Sometimes in life, you have to save people from themselves. You have to protect people from themselves, and put millions of dollars in the hands of teenagers and young men in their early 20s is not a good idea. They're not ready. They're not ready to acquire that kind of money. So there needs to be some type of salary cap put on the NIL. Can't nobody tell me that $50,000 would not hold these young men. Can't nobody tell me that $100,000 would not hold these young men. They don't need no millions of dollars. They don't need Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Bentleys. For what? For what? They got their whole lives to own one of those vehicles. There's some players that have been in the NFL for 2-3 years and don't even own vehicles like that. That's what I'm saying. It is getting out of hand. It need to be some type of regulation put on this NIL situation. And they need to do it quick, fast, in a hurry. They really do. Because there are going to be more and more incidents like this all across the country at other schools. Now, the third thing I want to discuss, where does UGA go from here? You know, if in fact Colbie Young is dismissed from the team permanently, I think Georgia will be fine. Just like what happened with Adam Anderson. Remember the Adam Anderson situation back in 2021? We were in the middle of a national championship run. And I think it occurred right after the Florida game. He was arrested right after the Florida game. He was arrested for domestic violence. He was kicked off the team. And we was okay. We went on and finished the regular season undefeated and went on to win a national title. We were fine. So I think we'll still be fine even without Colbie Young. We have other players, London Humphreys, Michael Jackson. I think Dillon Bell is pretty much beginning to, as far as receivers, Dillon Bell is becoming that downhill threat that DBs and safeties does not want to see coming. He's our Swiss Army knife. You can line Dillon Bell up anywhere, and he will cause some damage for the opposing defense. And that's a fact. Arian Smith, he needs to work on his hands. You know, I would only use him for maybe like jet sweeps, if you're going to run jet sweeps. And if he's down the field, and I think he can beat anybody in one-on-one coverage. If you can line him up on DB in one-on-one coverage and throw him a 50-50 ball, I think he can come through for you. But he's still a work in progress. He's still a work in progress. I just feel like Dillon Bell down the field would be a little bit more trustworthy right now. Jordan Humphreys, I'm really excited about him. Those plays he made in that Clemson game and the plays that he made in that Auburn game, I'm really excited to see more of him. We need to see more of him. Bobo needs to call more plays his way. Utilize him and Dominique Lovett. You can utilize both of them on underneath routes. But as far as downhill, you want to bring in Anthony Evans, go ahead and let him get his feet wet. I believe, you know, he has to have great hands. If Kirby has trusted him for the last 2 years to return punts and kickoffs, so he must have good hands, or one of the best hands on the team, that he's been returning punts, much like Kyrus Jackson during the championship years. Kyrus Jackson, he was returning the punts and the kickoffs, and he was one of the most sure-handed receivers that we've had in UGA history. You know, you threw the ball his way, he was going to catch it. He rarely ever had drops. And usually if he ever had any drops, or he wasn't able to bring the ball in, it was because the quarterback maybe threw the ball behind him or too far out in front of him. But he was very dependable. And I think Anthony Evans has that same capability if we give him the opportunity. Michael Jackson, we went and got him in the transfer portal. I watched him at USC. The kid can ball. The kid can ball. So I think Georgia is in good hands. And this may be a situation that could actually work into Bobo's favor, because now it narrows the receiver room. And now you're forced to feed the hot hand. And that's what Mike Bobo needs to do. He needs to start feeding the hot hand. I would suggest to Mike Bobo is to go up tempo. You went up tempo on Auburn, and Auburn had no answer for it. You went up tempo against Bama in the second half. Bama had no answer for it. You went up tempo against Kentucky in the second half. They had no answer for it. You went up tempo in the second half against Clemson. They had no answer for it. No, and Clemson, I still say Clemson is the best defense we've seen so far this year. The best defense we've seen so far this season is Clemson, in my opinion. So there you have it, man. There you have it, my friends. I just want to come on here and just voice my opinion on the situation. I've been handling other things throughout the day. A real good friend of mine called me this morning and gave me the information on whether I had no idea I was going to wake up to that kind of news about Colbie Young, but I got the news early this morning. Listened in on DawgWalk Nation Daily this morning with Brandon Adams, and he spoke about it briefly. I just wanted to come on here and speak about it and voice my opinion on it. Right now, it's still an ongoing investigation as of right now. But hey, if the information is validated and it comes back that that everything that the young lady has accused Colbie Young of doing to her comes back that he actually did it, he gotta go. He gotta go. He gotta go. He gotta go. I don't give a damn if he's putting up Jerry Rice type numbers. I don't give a damn. That's something that we do not condone. Me personally, I would not condone that. Being a father of a young lady, I would not condone that. I have a daughter, and I damn sure wouldn't want no man putting their hands on my daughter in that way, period. And on top of the fact, she's carrying his child. That makes this even more egregious. So Colbie Young, the only thing I can say to you is, son, I think you blew it. I think you blew it because I really, really believe that you had an opportunity to do something special here in Georgia, here at the University of Georgia, and you had the opportunity to go on into the NFL and have a great, promising career. But if the evidence comes back that you in fact did this to this young lady, I think you can kiss your football career goodbye. And let this be a teachable moment to all of you young men out there, all of you hot-headed young men out there. Think before you act, because all actions has consequences. When you decide to lose it and put your hands on a woman, you pretty much sealing your fate, because that is something you do not want on your record. You do not want on your background. You don't want that. You don't want that kind of reputation. Not only would it kill your football career, but it will also prevent you from landing a good job in other places in the workforce. So, young men, like I always say, just leave, go for a walk, go for a drive, let the woman cool off. Give her time to cool off. Give them space. Women are gonna fuss, they're gonna yell, they're gonna raise hell. That's what they do. Best thing to do is just to separate yourself from that situation and let things cool off. And by all means, in no reason, in no way should you put your hands on a female. That is a huge no-no. Because think about it, young man. You wouldn't want no man putting their hands on your mother or your sister, now would you? See, that's what a lot of men need to just process. How would you feel if you walked in a room and saw a man putting their hands on your mother? Think about it. And on that note, I want to thank all of you for coming out and joining me here on this edition of the Dog Call. I was hoping to talk about, other things that was going on in the UGA football world and in the college football world, but this was the shocking headline of the day. This is something that needed to be talked about. And me, as a Georgia fan, I hated doing this live. I did not want to do this live, but I would be a hypocrite if I just sat on this and held my tongue and not come on here and voice my honest opinion. I would be a hypocrite. So I hope a lot of other dogcasters follow suit and speak out on this as well. I know there's an ongoing investigation. Like I said, I led everything off with alleged, nothing set in stone yet. But until, in my opinion, until the investigation is done, I think the kid needs to sit, because it will become a distraction for the team and a distraction in the locker room. And that's something that Colbie doesn't need right now, especially when you are in the middle of a playoff run. That's something that you don't want. And it's not a good look for the university anyway. All right. Situations like this, you have to distance yourself from it. Quick, fast, in a hurry. All right, everyone, hit that like button. Thank you all for coming out. Hey, like I said, I think we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Regardless of what happens, we are going to be okay. I feel good about the improvement that we made on Saturday. There were some new gadgets that Bobo used on offense that I feel real good about. We're going to start seeing some additional players that are going to come in and make contributions. Some players that I felt that should have been starting, they're going to get a lot more playing time, like Lawson Lucky. Oscar Delp, listen, I don't have a problem with him. He's made some nice plays for us in the last 3 years, but Lawson Lucky, in my opinion, is head and shoulders above the better tight end than Oscar Delp. I'm just being totally honest here. One thing about me, when I come on the dog call and I speak Georgia Bulldog football, I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak from the heart, and I'm going to tell you like it is. And I'm just being honest. There's no shade at Oscar Delp. Listen, I just think Lawson Lucky, from my eye test this year, I just think Lawson Lucky is the better tight end, and I feel like he should be the one getting the more playing time. Because right now we're already one loss. We can't be BSing around the rest of the way. We cannot be BSing around when we go to Austin. We need to have the best players out on the field, the best, especially on offense. We don't have any time to waste. It's because that's practically going to be a de facto elimination game in Austin. Okay, everyone, hit that like button. I'm gonna get ready to get on up out of here. Thank you all for coming out. I will see you all tomorrow. Hit that like button, share button, and subscribe. And leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know, how do you feel about the Colbie Young situation? All right. How should Colbie handle it? And do you believe that we have a culture issue at the University of Georgia? Everyone, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Peace and blessings. I'm Armando Black. And like I always say, take care of yourselves and each other. For the victims down in Florida, Hurricane Milton, you're in our prayers. And one more thing. Go dogs! Stick 'em. Woo, 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 woo. This has been the Dawg.